Hey, good morning, everyone. Morning, Roy. Morning, Bailey. How are you?
Morning, Mark.
Morning, Mark.
Great to have you guys here. Welcome, everyone, to Tea and Scones today. And really excited to have Roy and Bailey with me today, Roy Hall and Bayley Hall, and both absolutely different industries. Bailey's still at school and still learning how to drive along the streets in normal cars, but he's going to tell us all about the great adventures he's having in racing. And Roy, let's start with you. Tell me, what do we have in common, Roy?
Well, we were both in financial planning together, but we also got to know each other, and we get to fly Sierra Foxtrot Hotel, our Cessna 182.
Absolutely, and we were just talking about it. You just reminded me, one of the greatest, well, I won't say upsides of Corona, but one of the greatest thrills in the early days when all the planes stopped, it opened up an opportunity for us to fly in and land at Brisbane International Airport, and so we both did that separately, didn't we? It was really something else.
Yeah, Bailey and I took off from Masonfield only a couple of months ago, flew up over Archerfield, then in through Brisbane, and got permission from air traffic control to go and fly the runway at Brisbane International, and an experience that you'll probably never get another chance to do once the skies open back up and we move away from the coronavirus and back to normality as it was. So yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And how was it just seeing all those planes lined up on the cross runway, all the Qantas jets and so on, just all sitting there and have been for months? So it's just sad, isn't it?
It was unbelievable. Like, you couldn't imagine how many planes that they have in their field, and they're all just lined up. And then even the runway, it's like it's never ending.
Yeah, that's right. No, I'll just tell everyone the difference between Roy going to Brisbane and me going to Brisbane was $250, because I actually did what's called a touch and go, where you actually land and then without stopping you just take back off again and so on. But it was just a great experience going in there. And I remember the day I went in, the girl on tower, we were just chatting away because there was not another plane in the sky that was anywhere near Brisbane that day that I went in there. It probably was the same for you. And she was chatting away, and I said, "Isn't this fantastic? What a great opportunity!" And she said, "Yeah, a Cessna 172 had landed about an hour before me and done exactly the same thing." So I think people like us were the only ones keeping the air traffic control sane.
Yes, no, they were exactly when I went through. They were happy to talk to someone, to be honest, and it was just a fantastic experience that we're never going to get again. So it was great.
Absolutely. Yes, we hope there's not another pandemic in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Now, Roy, you've got a business called Hall Finance and Insurance. That's right, and that's obviously a very successful business. But at the moment, you're back at uni. You want to tell me what that means?
Yeah, Mark. Obviously, Hall Finance and Insurance Solutions is my practice just down at Southport in the Gold Coast, and we're a holistic view. We look after clients from superannuation strategies, investment managed funds, life insurance. And we also have a mortgage broking side of our practice. Been going now for 19 years. So we've got a really strong client base. But with the new rules through the government and ASIC, which is obviously the governing body for financial planners, they brought in that all financial advisors by 2024 must have tertiary qualifications. And that's regardless if you've got the experience that I've got over 20 years, or if you have just come new entrant into the industry. So it's a rule that is a mandatory requirement. So what that means for me, Mark, is I'm actually back at university studying. I've got 6 modules or 5 modules to go now, and I'll come out of it stronger, obviously, from having all the information that you get from doing a university degree. But the one thing in our industry that we've lost a little bit is some of the advisors have left the network due to study. They may have been more mature in age and didn't want to go through that process. And unfortunately, I'm going to lose that experience. You can learn a lot from books, but the day-to-day experience that you have with your clients and how you interact and things like that, we're sort of losing. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah, absolutely, Roy. I mean, relationships are the greatest thing. I mean, I was in financial services, as you know, for 30 years, and I got out before all this came in. I had an economics degree, but that wouldn't have meant diddly squat from what I understand. So I would have had to have gone back to uni again. But I think what you're losing out of the industry is the the wealth of knowledge, the wealth of relationships, and the human factor. And it's just becoming more and more sort of rote, I think, which is not necessarily a good thing. But look, following on, Roy, from your business, and I know you've been very successful with Hall Finance and Insurance, but you're also one of my favourite organisations. You've got a very special role in the $1 Million Round Table, and I used to go to meetings over in the States, and that's just such a wonderful organisation. Now you're on the worldwide executive. Do you want to just talk about MDRT?
Yeah, look, MDRT stands for $1 Million Round Table, and it was like-minded advisors sharing ideas in their business to help other advisors grow in their own practices. So in Australia, there's actually 160 advisors that actually are qualified to be an MDRT member, and then actually practice what we preach with sharing and caring, with ideas of how they grew their business and how they opened up to what they do, their best practices, and sharing that stuff. So with that, the international organisation started in 1927, would you believe? They've now got over 70,000 financial advisors worldwide. And each year they have an annual meeting, and we also have a lot of local meetings throughout Australia as well, where advisors just get together and communicate and share those ideas. But and I've been fortunate enough that in my business that I've been able to donate back some of my time to the association itself, and has been hired as a divisional vice president for some of the different areas of MDRT as the group, because we need to assist them in what we do with the annual meeting and sharing those ideas, and just give them back a bit of time in those areas to be on committees and helping them with their own growth.
So, Roy, does this mean eventually you're going to be the Australian pioneer and the president of MDRT? Is that where your path's taking you? Are you going to keep following that?
Yeah, look, certainly MDRT gives opportunity when you go through the motions that I have done so far. I've been on the membership committee, I've been on their finance committee, their ethics committee, their global conference committees, the Australian committees. So to do that, you do learn a lot about the actual business itself, the association. Look, there's been a gentleman in Australia who actually was the president last year, Ross, and he was a member of MDRT for just over 30 years. So I've been a member now for 18. So look, there's 70,000 other members that are all wishing to maybe be president one day. So look, if it is on the schedule in the next 10 to 15 years, I would look at that with open arms. But at the same time, it's a big role, and you do take a lot of time away from your own business and family to do that. But yeah, and the experience would be amazing. The people that you meet throughout the world, and I have some of my closest friends from the association that I've stayed at their house over in America and New Jersey and Canada and Britain, and then they've actually come and stayed at my house here on the Gold Coast as well. So the friendships that you make and the business-to-business sharing is just exceptional. It's made me the better person that I am today. Yeah,
no, good on you, Roy, and good on you for giving all that time back to the industry. A lot of people are very good at taking, but I really admire the way that you give back a lot of yourself and your time, and in a lot of ways, it could be said as a thankless job. I mean, it's you're just giving up time which you could be flying the aeroplane or watching Bayley racing and all those sorts of things. So, good on you for doing that. And your current role, your current position on the $1 Million Round Table Executive Committee what's that called now? Where are you now?
Yeah, I'm in the actual finance committee, so we actually handle all the financial matters for the whole association. We probably see it at more of the higher end because obviously they have employed over 100 staff in our head office in Chicago to do the day-to-day running, but then it's by the members for the members. So we make the higher level decisions, and then we can pass that up to what they call the executive committee, which is another advisors like myself who then do the final sign off. But it's just positive minds thinking together what's good for the association, and then it just gets signed off. So we're looking after all the money at the moment.
What is the budget each year? Am I allowed to ask that question, Roy? The budget for MDRT, or is that a rude question?
Anyway. it's a big number, I can tell you that. You know,
It was a rude question. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very big number, especially when you think we've got 70,000 members, and to run some of the programs we do, especially with the conference, we have over 14,000 advisors in Orlando 2 years ago attended the annual conference. So you can imagine the infrastructure and the roles and everyone has to play to take off that sort of a conference with 14,000 from around the world. I think we have the same level of interpreters as the United Nations, because we have everyone from every walk of life that qualifies to be a member attend, from China, Korea, India, and so on. So it's a pretty amazing culture thing, just as much as the meeting itself.
Yeah. No, I remember all the times when all the different countries, all the attendees would turn up and we get our photos taken, all the Australians, all the Kiwis, and all the people from different countries. And it's a real melting pot, and it's a great organisation, Roy, and well done for all you contribute there.
Yeah,
now, Bayley, you've been sitting there very quietly, Bayley, but we're on to you now. So I want to start by saying, who's your favourite sponsor?
Who's my favourite sponsor? He's given me everything I could have dreamed for. I've been driving a few of Australia's best tracks, and it's been unbelievable. The cars I've been in, and tracks and people I've been around thanks to Dad. So yeah, HFI's bonnet and roof. So so he's loving it too.
No, good on you, mate, and good on you, Roy, for looking after Bayley and giving him a great opportunity to live his dream as well. So I just want to know what your daughter's hobbies are, just so you know you've got the budget set aside for that as well. She's into video production, isn't she?
Yeah, she does love her videography. So Bayley Hall photography. She does a lot of videoing and little movie segments that she does, and she's got a lot of clients already that she's doing productions for. So she's got the cameras and the lenses and the gyros and the drones and all those fun things. And Bayley then's got a race car, so it's a bit different.
Yeah, I think Bayley, you're ahead.
Don't tell her.
I promise I won't tell anyone though. But actually, now Shayla also, I've run into her a few times at Ferry Road there, and she's a delightful girl. Roy, you should be very proud of both your kids. They're both, from what I've seen of both of them, they're very well mannered, and it's a real credit to you and Dee. So good on you. Anyway, I should have said that in front of you, Bayley. Don't get a big head, okay? Now tell me, what got you started, Bayley, in racing cars?
I think Dad's always been a car man. Like, he's put supercars on TV since I was 2. I've had miniature cars.
Revhead. Bayley, he's a revhead.
Revhead since I was born, I can guarantee you. When I was 6, we finally stepped it up and got into go-karting. And it's been awesome with Dad, always at a go-kart track, like every second weekend until I was about 12. And then finally stepped it up into real race cars when I was about 14. Got into the Hyundai Excel. So that was a big step up, finally in a car with manual gearbox and a roof over my head. And then just been producing results and just going up to the top ranks now. And we're driving a Mark car, which is similar to a supercar that you see on TV, that Whincup and McLaughlin, even Shane Gisberg, and they've driven these style of cars. They're built for racing, big V8 in it, even paddle shift and big slick tires on it. So I'm learning a lot. It drives just like a supercar. And that's my ideal in the next few years, 4 to 5 years. We're planning to get to professionalism.
Oh, fantastic. And with that, you're looking for sponsors, obviously, because Dad can sponsor you so much, but when you get into the supercars, it's a whole different level, I assume. Yeah,
the way they run the cars and the teams is just so professional that it does take that extra bit of cash. So at the moment we're looking for big sponsor opportunities. We've been producing like heaps of results. We've had 2 round wins recently at supercars events, running in the Aussie Tin Tops. Even earlier this year, I ran in the Bathurst 12 hour. We got 3rd in invitational class, and that was just heaps of learning, huge experience. We were running with Warren Luff. He's been driving supercars for the last 15 years. So I've just been learning so much, and considering how much time I've got, I just turned 17, so I've got a lot ahead of me.
You can actually drive now, can't you?
Yeah, just got my P, and I'm loving that. Got to drive myself to school and all that. See my mates. It's pretty awesome.
I just always find that so funny, you know. And we were talking before we started about how at the Gold Coast 600 last year, I was sitting on a balcony at what's that corner called? You probably know the street that I'm talking about, Roy.
Yeah, Narrowneck.
Down towards
yeah, when you come down Narrowneck and then you turn left to head towards Tedder Avenue, whatever. And I was sitting there watching you go past in your green Monster there, and I just laughed, and I thought, you can't even drive a car yet. What the hell are you doing out there doing 230 kilometres an hour down the Narrowneck? So it's good to see you've got your P plates finally.
Yeah, well, I've driven down that road on my L's. I'm sure I have. When I was doing about 60 k's an hour, and then
50.
and then I come back 2 weeks later, and I'm doing about 230. So yeah, that was awesome fun. Just you can just slightly touch the curbs, and our cars are a little bit more like a GT style, and yeah, that was unbelievable. My first time driving the track as a racetrack. And yeah, you had to get used to the bumps in the crown of the road, and it's a completely different experience.
Yeah, I bet it is. No, that's fantastic. And you really have had some good wins lately. I see in the background there you've got a couple of. Was it last weekend or the weekend before you had a couple of first places?
Yeah, so 3 weeks ago we ran at Townsville in the Aussie Tin Tops class, and we ended up with the round win, 2 race wins out of 3, and unbelievable. Like, awesome track, first time at Townsville for me. So running as a support category to supercars, you get seen by all the teams, and yeah, it was just awesome. Even just to be on TV, we got to rewatch all the races, and you see the car now and then. And then last weekend we just got back from Adelaide, my first time to Adelaide as well. So I had a lot of learning experiences at Tailem Bend, one of the best tracks in Australia, and we ended up with pole, 2 race wins. So we've got the round win for that too. So back to back.
So who keeps all the money for first place?
I think first time money back, we got $250 for pole, and went straight to the back pocket. So
we're talking $250. Is that not $250,000, right?
No,
I wish it was.
that's the first time we've actually ever got money from anything in motorsport. So Boost Mobile sponsored that round, and fortunately enough, they gave money out for pole position. But there's no in our category, even we're not that far away from supercars. We're on Channel 10, we're on Foxtel, so we're on good TV. But at the same time, there's no money in winning even. So, but it's a progression that we're trying to get there, Mark, to get funds on the board so that we can then go to one of these bigger teams and have the proof that we've been to these fantastic tracks supporting supercars, and hopefully get noticed enough to then move into that professional level of supercars or Super 2s, which is the first category before supercars. So
yeah, that was a good plug for Boost though that you put in there. So that was worth it for them for $250. Boost Mobile, right?
Yeah.
No, that's great. So Bayley, what's the most satisfying win or the most satisfying drive you've had? If you had to pick one, which one is it?
To be honest, it was last weekend. We had major gear selection issues. So about 4 times a lap, I had basically all my drive was cutting out, and I had cars coming right up behind me. So I think I had to just drive the wheels off it through the corners because I was lacking in straight line speed, on exit speed, because, yeah, it was unfortunate. The team did all they could to try and rectify the issue. But no, we did what we had, and we got through the weekend and got the win. So I was happy to just drive it as hard as I ever have, and defend the back-to-back wins.
Yeah, no, good on you, Bayley. Well done up there. My old hometown, Townsville. I lived there for many years, so I know exactly what you're talking about when you say you're riding up there. Who inspired you the most when you were a kid, Bayley? in regard to driving? Because I did make mention this morning of the next Peter Brock was going to be on the show today, but who was your hero?
Well, I was too young to see Peter Brock drive. I probably was about 3 years old when he did his last Bathurst, but actually linked with Boost Mobile, James Courtney in the he now runs the Boost Mobile Mustang, but James Courtney used to live in our street that we always used to be around, his family, and it was crazy for me as like a 8-year-old to have a supercars driver in my house. So he definitely got me into it. Every time we're at the track, we'd try to go see him. I think I've got I couldn't count on my fingers how many photos I've had in his car, around his car with him, and like I've just got the biggest smile possible. So yeah, he started my passion, and it's awesome to see him. I saw him at the track, and he went through a track walk with me, and yeah, it's really cool that they also link with young guns that are trying to come through.
Yeah, no, good on you. And of course, Roy, you do a lot of your clients are in the racing industry. I mean, when I first met you, you've got a number of guys that you look after all their insurances and so on. So I guess that probably is what helped form Bayley's interest as well, I guess.
Yeah, Mark, there's a good link there. The drivers must have life insurance inside the race car when they're racing. And for me, fortunately enough, I got connected through a couple of the drivers, and now I have a majority of the drivers as clients, because not only do they have to have that mandatory, but obviously they need other things in the superannuation and investment planning and that sort of thing as well. So we can give them a bit of direction, but they're very good at driving, and they need a financial planner to help them with the other things in life. They can focus on going fast, and then I help out by focusing on their financial plan. So, but that's been really good for us as well.
Yeah, so you're good at what you do, and they're good at what they do. So, absolutely. But no, that's obviously you met a lot of the guys, Bayley, as you were growing up, as you said, and that's made a mark, obviously, in your life in regard to the interest and so on as well. So what's next for you guys? I mean, is there a race at the Gold Coast this year or not?
No, there's no race.
It's come and gone, hasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and to be honest, Bathurst with the supercars coming up on the 15th of October, that'll be the last round for the supercar guys as well. So there might be a couple of local events that we can attend in Queensland. Yeah. COVID thing has still really shut down the opportunity to go to Victoria and race there, and the problem at the moment into New South Wales getting back into Queensland with Bayley about to start grade 12 at school. We can't go into quarantine, and I've got a business to run. So to go and do a race at Bathurst and then quarantine, it just would restrict both of our journeys with school and then with business. So, yeah. So
does that mean all the guys that are in the V8 supercars and so on, or are they exempt because they're famous, or does everyone who races in the big cars as well, do they have to quarantine for the 2 weeks?
That's right. Yeah, when they come back, all the Queensland-based teams have to quarantine for 2 weeks when they come back in. So, and that's why they've left this race to the last, and it actually got pushed back a week. It was normally it's the first weekend in October, but it's been pushed back, hoping that the borders may open, so that when they do come back, it's not so much of a problem for them. But so that means what Bailey's doing there, he's on school holidays, but Bailey also works in my business 1 day a week. He's doing a part of the degree. So most Fridays he's in my office working as a junior financial planner. He's got to do all the work, because that's the backup plan if he's not a professional car racer. So it's not a bad backup plan, I must admit, but he's doing all the right things and learning the ropes from like a father-son situation for him to come in and join our practice in the future in that area. So that's keeping him busy. Yeah,
fantastic, Bayley, and that's great. But Bayley, one thing that really was bugging me, like tennis players get out every day and they hit 1,000 tennis balls. Golfers line up on the driving range and they hit 1 million golf balls every day. And what do you do for practice?
So I do a lot of simulator work. So we've got a full sim set up downstairs, pretty similar pedals and steering wheel. Bit of a video game. It's a little, you can't get it obviously realistic until you're in the real thing. So there's a few people out there that have something in their backyard, which is awesome, and we try and get out there as often. Even recently, I've been getting into a shifter cart. So we have a Ricardo cart, 6-speed. This little cart, it's unbelievable. It's the highest power to weight ratio. It's got, I think we do about 150 k's an hour in a short straight, and about that far off the ground. And just plucking gears. They sound unbelievable. So yeah, a lot of karting just to get reaction timing, and even I've learnt quite a bit through the karts, going out to the track with a few supercar drivers like Jamie Whincup and Will Davison. They've been teaching me a lot, and it's cool to get linked with them. And then a lot of simulator. So it's about as close as we can get.
So Roy, when are you buying the flight simulator?
Yeah. Well, we've got the real thing, Mark, when we get time to go flying. So.
That's right. That's right. But that's interesting. Sorry, Roy, go.
Yeah, no, it's good. When we go to a new track, Bayley will sit downstairs and probably do around about 300 to 400 laps of that track just to have muscle memory of, which corners where and sort of where the braking markers should be. And I'll go down and give him a bit of coaching on that as well. And then he'll do simulated race starts with the computer cars that are in there, and just see how he can, if he's behind a car, what to do, how to pass, and just keep him fresh. When he does turn up to the track, we can be competitive from the start. And that's what was proven. The last two we did Townsville, and we were able to do a lot of simulator work beforehand, and then he put it on pole and won the races. So
it's sort of like pre-planning any moves that could be made, or any ways you could do a corner differently just to get the top performance. So yeah, it really helps out.
So your simulator car that you've got downstairs, you can just key in all the different racetracks around Australia and so on, and basically, as you say, just practice the hell out of them until you turn up on the spot. And is that, how realistic is that, Bayley, with where you have to hit your brakes and all those four markers and so on? Are they pretty real?
Yeah, certain
programs compared to real life.
Yeah, even the physics, like they've got tire profiles and aero profiles. So just the way the wind works and how the tires changing direction. So it's pretty unbelievable what they can do. Like I've done an unbelievable amount of laps around Bathurst on the sim, and what I've done in real life, it's identical. So it's pretty awesome to have just downstairs.
And once you've bought it, if we do crash, it doesn't cost much to hit reset. Let's go again.
That's right. Better to have your crashes on the simulator.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's what I do. I push it really hard on the sim, and then I know where the limit is in the real thing. So, no, a bit of a reset button, but I try and use that at least as possible.
Now, last time I watched you going around Bathurst, you were driving a truck. Basically, it was one of those. I'm not being facetious, but it was one of those like a 4-door van, not van, ute type thing. What are they called? Special class.
The super utes.
Super ute.
Yeah, just like I was driving a Ford Ranger, which I don't know about race car style, but it was just a good experience to be around Bathurst. It was my very first time there. And that was at the Bathurst 1000 weekend. So it really got our name out there.
Yeah, and I remember you did quite well. So mate, well done. So Roy, what's ahead for you? You've got your university. What's coming up for you for the rest of the year?
Yeah, look, I've got there's a girl in my office, Karen, who's already got her university degree. She has just done the other thing that they've brought out to as a national exam, the FASIA national exam. I've just passed my national exam, and we're just waiting on her results. With the professional years, she'll now start to be an advisor for my clients that are in my portfolio. So that, and for me then just continue finishing off my degree so I can put that behind me and focus on the business side. With Bayley coming in and learning the ropes at the outset, is just getting him more momentum on how things have worked in the financial planning area. And then resetting a little bit, as we were saying before with the university, unfortunately the industry's lost around we had 34,000 advisors, now we're down to 22,000 advisors. So the industry has lost a lot of advisors, and the problem that I see there is more and more people are going to need advice, and there's going to be less advisors out there to advise. So our focus is to service our existing clients and give them the best service ever, and then we can then sort of hold parity, and then when we bring on new advisors, we can then introduce new clients into the practice again. So so that's sort of where the whole industry is sort of moving at the moment, and we're just making sure our systems and processes and procedures are 100% perfect. We're pretty close, but we just got to make sure that their back office, because it's the cost to serve as well, that we've got to be very diligent on these days. Because of the way the industry has evolved in that area. So focus, reset, and look forward to 2021. COVID hasn't been majorly a drama with our practice, and probably more of this stuff, the Zoom meetings, the not having to be face-to-face is a bit of a reality check for maybe most businesses, but it's now becoming more and more acceptable. So that's a bit of a different view from me being an advisor, meeting people at their businesses or their house or in my office. That sort of changed as well, Mark. So it's something that we're learning ourselves to then work with what the new way of advice will look like for the future.
The new normal, that's right. Hey guys, time's up, but I want to thank you both, Roy and Bayley, both very much for coming on and having a chat today. Bayley, really wish you every good wish for your career, both with your dad, but also with the racing, mate. I hope you achieve all the dreams that you'd love to there, and look forward to seeing you on TV for many years to come, racing on the big races. So guys, thanks to you both.
See you guys.
See you soon.